You can make me co-host now.
Greetings, everyone. We'll get started in a minute. Welcome to Qigong for Beginners.
Ellen, I need to ask a question.
Yes.
Tomorrow, I've booked for your class, but tell me how I've done it. I booked for 2 times.
What do you mean?
One the early time that you was last week, and one, and I've got it on my writing. So I don't know which one you're doing.
I'm not teaching any morning classes on Tuesday or early classes, so
So, because you're Eastern time, I don't understand what time it is. But on a Tuesday, would you be doing one at this time? Yeah, but it's at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. I've got 2 with your name. So,
well, I would say go back and double check, because what happened was they scheduled the class at what was a different time, like they scheduled an hour earlier, and I said,
too early.
keep it at the same time. They canceled it, but I don't know if somehow you're.
Oh,
So double check that, and I will double check on my end. I don't want to do that right now, but I think for the usual time for tomorrow.
What is usual? This time? This time tomorrow? So that would be 10 p.m. in England, but Eastern time.
Right. I don't know. I think I'm 7 hours different from the UK, and it's 3 o'clock here, so that would be 10 o'clock your time.
Yeah, so that'd be same time as tonight now. Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know how I managed to book 2, but there's 1 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So
I don't know, but I'm not teaching 2 in a row tomorrow. Whatever. So we'll double check that, and apologies for any confusion with that. You know, I don't actually set the schedule inside the Get Set Up platform. I just tell them these are my hours, and usually they keep it the same because it gets too confusing to everybody if it keeps changing.
Because I missed it last week because I was late
Well, that was last week, and I did say something about it. So, well, let's carry on here, and welcome to Qigong for Beginners. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm Ellen Shapiro. I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I love sharing Qigong. So some people have been coming back to this class, which is wonderful to see, and some people are brand new, and either way, you are totally welcome. There is no question that is not okay to ask in this class as long as it's related to Qigong. So so let's start the recording here. All right, we are recording. We are also on the live stream. So if anyone is watching on the live stream, enjoy the class. I do encourage you to sign up because then you can ask questions. It's more interactive. And there is an energy exchange that goes on between me and the students in the class. So if you're watching it on live, that's great, but it's kind of like watching from outside as opposed to being in the class. So please come join us if you like it, if you're curious. And so in Qigong for Beginners, I do a little introduction to Qigong, so you have some framework for what we do here, and then we'll do some moving. So before we start, I would just love to hear from any of you what drew you to this class, or those who've been coming, what are you receiving from it, or what makes you come back? And I'm not looking for praise of my wonderful teaching, even though I love that. I'm looking for things that would inspire other people, and just so we learn from each other about, what does Qigong do? And I can tell you a lot of things, but I would love to hear from you. Or if you don't know and you're brand new, just, I heard about it, or whatever you want to say about it. So I welcome hearing from you. You can post in the chat or unmute yourself to speak. Some of you are actually unmuted, but I
find it relaxing. It relaxes me, and it gives me an hour to myself.
Right on.
So I know that every time I do a class with you, I've got an hour to myself. And that's nice.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Anybody else want to share anything? Yeah.
Well, I've had 2 different friends in the last couple of weeks tell me they love their Qigong class. And the second one was this morning. and she told me about Get Set Up, and I was looking, and there was your class. So here I am. Try it out.
Wonderful. Yeah. And that's the beauty. There's a lot of wonderful teachers out there, and people are starting to open up community classes again. I have not done that yet. I'm going to start taking some local practices outside, but then there's also Get Set Up. So welcome. Yeah. Anybody else want to share anything before we move into our?
Ellen. Hi, Ellen, it's Nikki.
Yes, hi, Nikki.
I was in your class several months ago, and then I had a full knee replacement. So I had to stop, and my physical therapist said I can start again. So I'm back, and I'm happy to be back. I love your class.
Thank you. Wonderful. Welcome back. And that story is close to my heart because I did not have surgery, but I had a really bad knee injury. That's what got me on the path of Qigong. So you may want to practice in a chair. I would recommend that for anybody coming off surgery, injury, know that they have a certain weakness or arthritis in their legs or knees, anywhere. You may want to experiment or just practice in a chair. To experiment is like you do it standing. How does that feel? Does that feel good? Or do you tire pretty easily? If you do, then just take the chair, the support of the chair. But excellent, welcome back. So
I too fell walking my dog a year ago, January. I slipped on some ice and fractured my knee, causing the bones to separate in two places. And then, of course, of COVID, I really wasn't able to do any physical therapy and have spent a lot of time sitting. Recently, I've done some PT, and some of the exercises that she gave me have resulted in my quadratus lumborum, my back hurting me. So indeed, I found from previous classes, just as Janice said, that the relaxation has really helped release that tension that is accumulating in the back and has made my knee injury feel much, much better.
oh, that's excellent. I love hearing that. That's so great. Yeah. And this is one of the secrets to, so Qigong, well, I'll explain more. I'm going to go into the slides in a second. But Qigong is actually healing. It's not just nice movement for the body. I mean, all movement is beneficial and healing, but the intention behind Qigong is it's part of Chinese medicine. And this emphasis, like you're saying, on relaxation, this is something that Western medicine understands, but I don't think talks about nearly enough, is that we have two nervous systems. We have our sympathetic nervous system that governs our activities, our muscles, our heartbeat, all of these active things. But we also have a whole other nervous system, our parasympathetic, which is primarily for rest, digestion, and healing. So that's why a lot of healing takes place either when you're sleeping or when you're moving in a relaxed way instead of with tension and effort. There's a place for effort for sure, but relaxation it's really so powerful. So I'm very glad to hear that. And I would love to continue this conversation, but I want to get us more into the movement part. So thank you all for your contributions. And so let's go now. I'm going to mute the class sound out. And just to say a couple of logistical things, we have Harry is our teaching assistant from Get Set Up, and he is here for support with Zoom, questions like that. He put in the chat, so you'll see his message there, the email to request the recording from this class. So one of the great things about Get Set Up is that you can get a recording of the class. If you enjoyed the class and you want to hear parts of it again or practice any part of it, and you don't have to do the whole class on your own, you get the recording. When I was learning Qigong from my teacher, there were no recordings, there was no written notes, there was no nothing. You just had to go to class and practice and try and remember it. So it was a very good memory challenge for me. And it was quite a journey. Eventually, he began to teach more, like at least there was written material, but there were no diagrams, there were no photos, there were no videos. So you guys have it good. All right, let's go into our class, and I'm going to share slides here. So share screen. All right, here we go. So Qigong for beginners, and actually the woman in this picture is doing one of the movements that I teach. It's called standing in state. And this is a standing meditation where you hold your arms out in that circle. It's one of these things, it looks like you're doing nothing, and you're actually doing a lot for your body. Just a little bit about me. So native New Yorker who now lives in Santa Fe. I've made several big leaps in my life, and I left my career in accounting to become an energy healer and movement teacher. I also am a practitioner of EFT or tapping, and I hear the class that I want to teach on that is in the coming soon. And I love teaching and sharing my wisdom and experience with you. And what I really love about, I've actually taught a lot of things now. I've taught business, I've taught, other topics. But what I love about these classes is empowering people to do things to feel healthier, more energized, and discover the miracle of this body and how we can heal ourselves in simple ways. So Get Set Up is I think it's an amazing platform for learning useful skills from other folks like yourself, those of us in the wisdom years, and empowering you to do wonderful things, just have a better quality of life. And again, I invite you to keep your camera on unless it's just totally impractical for you, for the sense of community. You can request the recording. That's the email. It's in your chat also, help@getsetup.io. You don't get it automatically. You do have to request it, but you will get some notes after class. That goes out to you automatically, just not the recording. But you get it by request. Okay, and as I said, if you're watching on live stream, the fullest participation, the most benefit is actually signing up and being in the class. And Get Set Up is not commercial. We're not paid to promote anything specific. If you ever find somebody in your class starting to get like that, like promoting things, they don't belong there. And Get Set Up is working on keeping those kinds of disruptions out. But it has happened, unfortunately. It's the world we live in. And Get Set Up is now very, it's getting to be very well known. It's worldwide, and whoops. So, I guess the word is out about Get Set Up. So in this class, our goal is first to just explain what Qigong is, where it comes from, why practice it, who can benefit, hint, hint, anybody who can move, basic principles of Qigong. And the goal is, again, to teach you simple Qigong that you can try at home. Okay, so, and you notice it says at the bottom, set your intention for today's class. And I'm very big on intentions for a lot of reasons, because it mobilizes your energy, it keeps you focused. So it's good to just ask yourself, and maybe you don't know yet, but what's like one thing I'd really like to learn or have a question answered? Because then you're going to get more out of the class. So Qigong is movement as medicine. It's an ancient healing art from China. It's thousands of years old. And it's not icing on the cake. It's part of Chinese medicine. It's even been practiced in hospitals where the staff will do Qigong by the patient's bedside and transmit healing to them, as well as offering herbs and other kinds of treatment. And sometimes they use it along with Western medicine. So this stuff works. So the word comes from two words. So the Qi, which refers to your energy, your vitality, your life force, and Gong, which means cultivating or the work or the building of the Qi. So when you put it together, we are all about cultivating and building this vital force. And that powers, like, you can come to Qigong for a specific reason. Like I really wanted to heal my knee. I knew it would be good for me in other ways, but that was my motivation. And I found it did many other things. So when you boost the level of Qi, that's healing energy, that's going to offer all kinds of subtle or even more obvious health benefits. So I was teasing you about, hint, hint, Qigong is for you if you can move at all. And if there's an issue with standing for whatever reason, use the chair. It will work. It's very beneficial. And like I said, I could not stand through a Qigong class at all when I started. So I started in the chair, and eventually I would test myself. I would do, like when we did 9 repetitions of something, I would do maybe 5 or 6 in the chair and then stand up. So I was getting up and sitting down quite a lot until I built that up. But you may just need to be in the chair altogether for now. So it's low impact, gentle, and again, has so many health benefits, including boosting your immune system and creating more emotional balance as well. It can support you, and again, like I was saying, recovering after an illness or injury. And overall, it increases your resilience and your flexibility, not only literally in your body, but meeting the ups and downs of life with more ease and flow and more resilience. And as several people said, typically people will say they feel calmer and more relaxed, but it also gives you some energy. The basic principles are the same principles of all Chinese medicine. It's just that we do it in Qigong mainly through movement. We also work with intention. Sometimes we work with sound healing as well, and sometimes with self-massage. But the idea is getting the Qi flowing freely through the body. So you could think of it as circulation, only it's not like blood or lymph, which you can, are tangible. Qigong is intangible. You can't really see it, but just like we can't see electricity, we can see the effect of electrical power. So we can see the benefits of the Qi, even though we can't see it. So the idea is getting it circulating through the body. Another principle, again, is grounding and moving from your roots. And that means that has to do with your feet and your lower body and having a sense of yourself on the earth. So I was just in a Qigong class where I'm the student, and we were having a discussion about that. And this woman said that certain Qigong was bothering her, and it was all the Qigong that was about bringing more energy up to the head. And we were saying, well, maybe you just need, you need more grounding. You might be very up in your head, which is what our lifestyle encourages us to do. So Qigong is a counterbalance to that. Moving with awareness, just noticing the quality of your movement, postural habits. Are you holding your breath? Are you creating unnecessary tension as you move? And finally, again, as we were talking about relaxation. So the most healing happens when we are doing things in a relaxed way. And the 80% rule refers to doing a little less than your full capacity. Generally, there are times when we do go to 100%, but generally, this is this principle of conserving energy, which is another idea that's pretty different than like our understanding in Western medicine. So it's like, one analogy I use is like money, right? If we don't conserve any money and we spend it all, we don't have any reserves. So the Qi kind of works the same way. We don't want to completely, there are times we have to go all out, but then if we don't replenish, then we're in depletion. We don't have reserves. So I'm very chatty today, but seem to have a lot to say. So I vary this up. I don't always do the same thing each time, but I'm feeling like let's get moving here. So I'm going to stop the screen share. All right. see if there's anything I need to pay attention to in the chat. Okay, I think we're good. So let's come up to standing. And again, if you're going to use a chair, go, make sure you have the chair handy. Drink a little water here. Okay, so let's begin here. Just the camera a little bit down. I want you to be able to see my feet, and right now you can't. Okay, very good. All right, let's just take a minute and let's do some simple grounding. So get your feet kind of hip width apart, bending your knees, making sure your knees are going over your feet and not buckling in like that. Definitely don't want that. And if you're in the chair, see if you can just press your feet. We'll all do this actually. So press into the ball of your foot when we come back and really feel right in the middle there, right under the ball of the foot in the center. That is kidney 1, and that's a grounding point. So let's press into it and then flatten your foot out and spread your toes and just feel like my foot is on the ground. Let's do the same thing with the other one. So just press into the ball of the foot. All right, and now slowly lower it, spread the toes, and really just feel your feet. Let's rock back and forth. Good. So why all this grounding? Why all this talk about that? Well, there's a couple of reasons, but on the practical level, this is about balance, right? So if we're rushing, if we're up in our head, or we're in the future or the past, or listening to somebody, or we're talking on our cell phone and we're not paying attention to our walking or whatever activity we're in, then we don't pay attention to our feet. We're not even aware of like something that's on the ground we might trip on or slip on, right? So on that practical level, grounding is really important. And it also makes you just more present in your life. So again, if I'm up in my head and I'm in some other time zone, I'm not in this time zone, I'm distracted. I'm not fully present for whatever's happening. So let's do something else that's a kind of centering. It's not exactly, it is partly grounding, but it's also about, so we have the ground of feeling the feet and our lower legs. Let's draw that energy like we're sipping up through a straw, up from the legs, through the center of the body. Let's bring it up to the heart. Just pause here for a minute, connecting to your center for compassion and wisdom. And now lifting the energy up with our hands and drawing it up now into this area, Shen point or third eye, just above the eyebrows, right in the middle of your forehead. Then let's lift it up even higher and turn your palms and reach them up. And now your hands are like, we could think of them as antenna or satellite dishes. We're receiving energy from the cosmos. And we draw that energy down and now bring it down through the central column. This is all energy work we're doing here, right here. And then let's come to Dantian. So left hand just below the belly button, right on top. Bend the knees slightly so we keep a little bend. And that's again to avoid locking the legs like really straight. And again, the slight relaxation, the slight bend in the joints enables this chi, enables this energy to flow more freely. So if I lock my arm like that, the energy won't flow as easily. So if I'm rigid, again, I'm resisting. If I have a little bend, then the energy can move more freely through it. Okay, so just feeling your grounding here. And once more, we're going to do, this is called vertical alignment, this simple activity of like bringing up energy. So now imagine that between your feet, now you've got like a connection that goes down into the earth. Maybe you think of it as a pipeline or just some way or a root. But now sometimes we root up through our feet. Let's root up right through the middle. And we're coming up into our root chakra. So the perineum area, the base, very tailbone, that whole area. Bringing it up now into the dantian, that lower energy center in our bodies. Drawing it up even higher to the heart. And finally up to third eye, up above our head. And now we allow this whole circuit of energy. So this is actually a version of Qigong. I don't know if there's a name for this exactly, but you imagine energy coming up from the earth, lifting it up through the central channel, and now it comes around like that. And people who can see energy fields will literally see this orbit of energy. So it's like one good image is like an apple. So here's the base of the apple coming up the core, and the top of the apple opens like that. Let's do one more of these. Yeah, and now just pause and just bring your hands to dantian. Close your eyes for a second and see if you feel any different. How did that affect you? Like, I feel a little warmer, and you might or might not notice a difference at this point. Okay, good. So I'll stop, and I will invite you several times usually to do that. So we practice and then stop and feel. And that's training you to notice more. So again, these are subtle things. And this is all self-awareness. Like, what am I actually feeling in my body? How did that affect me? Not only for Qigong class, but this is when we are paying attention to how things feel in our body, we're going to naturally want to eat foods, be with people, be in environments that feel better to us. So without having to like work hard at it, it becomes, let's just say we become like, we get tuned to that radio station of well-being. And what a great thing. So, all right, let's see what else. Let's do a few more warm-ups. So I'm rooting down into my left foot and I'm circling around. So most of my weight's on the left and I'm just circling around here, opening up the foot and the ankle. Go a little bit, we can go a little bit bigger with this. And if you want, you can come, I'm not putting weight on it, but I'm sort of coming up to the front of my big toe here. Slightly different effect here. All right, let's do the other foot. So I'm going to start this way. And if also just, pay attention if I'm doing something that your body says no to, or you need to modify it, make it a little smaller, or this is one variation. If you want to stay with this, that's fine. Either way. So the difference is that now I'm only on the ball of my foot. And in this version, I'm sort of leaning a little bit. You have to be careful. Don't press too hard on the top of the foot. And I have to put more weight on here. So that stretches the top of the foot. Other one. Okay, good. Let's do another couple of simple stretches. So the chair can be used as a nice support for any kind of when you need balance, and I just like it for this particular one. So I'm going to do a little calf stretch here. So I'm bringing my left foot back, and I use the chair, not leaning heavily on it, but just a little support. And I'm gently bringing my heel down and stretching into the calf. The front leg is bent a little bit. If you can't come down all the way, just go down where you can. Let's do one more. So I'm lifting the heel and then slowly stretching into the calf. Okay, let's switch it. Other foot back. And it's really important to keep your calves well stretched, because if they get tight, it can lead to various issues, including If anyone's ever had plantar fasciitis, like I've had it 3 times, I do not want that again. It's very painful. So this is a good prevention, just a good thing to do. And let's go onto the top of the foot briefly here. Again, with the chair as support, you can control how much you put on that. Let that go, do the other one. So in order to maintain flexibility and resilience in all our joints, it's important to stretch them in different directions. And we don't usually stretch the top of our foot. All right, a little bit of hip warm up. So hands on the hips, and my legs are about hip width apart here. Let's just do a little circling around. Side, back, side, and front. And you might notice there are certain places where the circle is not quite a circle. It's hard to move into those areas. And that's just a sign you need more stretching there. Okay, go the other way. And sometimes, you know, there's a specific injury or something going on too. So reverse the circle. All right, let's do a little bit more warming up of our knees. Here's a simple way to do that. So we rub our hands together. We're generating healing energy through our palms. You can even blow, like the breath carries the chi. So let's just blow into our hands. Now bring them down onto your knees, just all up and down, over the knees, around to the side. Yeah. All right, good. Let's do a little bit for shoulders and upper body, and then we'll do more active Qigong. So lift the shoulders and let them drop. Let the shoulder blades drop down. Another one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, roll them back. Now we'll add a neck stretch. So as you inhale and hunch the shoulders, chin sticks out. Now, chin tucks back and the shoulders roll back. So this is turtleneck stretch. So we inhale like a turtle looking out of our shell, and then we retract and everything comes back down. Okay, let's do a little bit of shaking. So there's a couple of ways, you know, these warm-ups are good for our joints, and this is also a different way of stimulating and activating the chi in the body is movement. So shaking is one way that we do that. So just start gently, and you can come to my level with this or stay very small, but we're just shaking like we're shaking water out. So you can also go slower or smaller. And let's just do a little flicking. So just releasing stuck energy, stagnant stuff. Good. Let's do a couple of shoulder swings now too. So here's the gentle version. And this is the one to stay with if you have some arthritis going on. So you just come like this, inhale, up, exhale, turn the palms out. And you can get a slight bend in your knees if you like. So stay with this one if you've got shoulder projects, as my teacher calls them. And if you just have tight shoulders and you want to open them, here's the other version. So higher and a little faster. Again, no right or wrong, just find the way that works for you. And let's do just a little bit more this way. So bringing the arms in and out. Inhale in, exhale out. All right, and just stretch fingers. Something else we don't think about too much, but you can build up tension and stiffness there too. Shaking the wrists and just a little gentle neck stretch. Gentle, no force. The head is simply falling towards the shoulder. Other side. All right. Good. Let me take a little sip of water here. So let me tune in and see what I'm guided to show you today. So let's actually practice the one that I pointed out that was in the slides. Let's practice that stance, standing at stake. So this is a standing meditation, and it's very, very effective and powerful. It's also pretty challenging for most people. So we're not going to do it for long, but maybe it will give you a sense of like how powerful Qigong can be. So get your feet about hip width, maybe slightly wider, and then just bending the knees. Again, knees over the feet and coming around in this big wide circle like you're embracing the world or hugging a tree. And then check your shoulders, make sure that you're not building tension up there. Lower the shoulders and breathe. Feel your feet on the floor. And we can feel our body as a bridge between the earth and the sky. And what we're doing here, this is standing at stake, is we are drawing up earth energy through our feet and legs, coming up through the center of the body, and then we're circulating it around in a circuit of energy. And through our palms facing the body, we are doing some self-healing. We're sending healing energy right from the center of the palm into what mine is facing like my chest. So I'm doing some healing for my lungs and heart. There are variations, like you could come down here if you want to heal your belly area. If you had something going on with your ovaries or your uterus or those lower parts here, you could come down here. So this is Qigong as self-healing. Let's come back up to here. And again, if this is really difficult on your shoulders, do a lower the hands. Notice if you're building up any tension, which is easy to do. See if you can relax, soften your face. So this is a standing meditation, and Qigong masters can stand like this for hours. I'm not at that place myself yet. Okay, let that go. Good. Let's do some other Qigong movements here. So let's actually come back to here and let the hands come down. And we're going to move into calm the waters. This is a small version of it. So the hands are going to come out here, not too far. So I often teach where the hands move further out, but today let's contain the energy. So we just come out to here, the hands come back and lift slightly. So like we're sliding our hands down a pillar, and now our hands are gliding across the top of the surface, maybe a tabletop or the top of a lake. This is a version of calm the waters, very, very calming. So if I was brand new and I was like, one thing I want to remember, I might recommend this one. Because this is in itself is a Qigong form, and it's very soothing, calming. This would be a good one to do either like right before dinner or right before bed. Just or late afternoon when your energy wanes. So let's just practice a couple of these in silence. See if you can let your hands be relaxed instead of rigid, so they don't have to be stiff like that, right? They can just be soft. So inhale as we lift, we exhale as we come down. And let's add one more little detail to this. So see if you can relax your perineal muscles, just at the bottom of your pelvis, where we tend to start tightening up unconsciously. And as we do this, and create some relaxation, this enables us to draw up more earth energy into the lower body. Good. Let's do a couple of more movements here. Let's pause here. Let's do a couple of more movements from what I'm showing you right now is part of a series. So you can do individual Qigong movements and they all have different benefits. And there's also a lot of Qigong sets where there's, you do a certain movement in a certain order and they're linked to each other. So what I'm showing you right now is part of a series that is for calming the nervous system. All of Qigong will do that, but this one is specifically intended for that. So let's just do the calm the waters one more time. Come into that and back. And now we'll move into another very simple movement called waxing lung. And we move the hands up a little higher, so kind of pretty close to chest height. We inhale and exhale. So imagine the breath is like, the lungs are kind of like a bellows, right? So they fill with air as we expand. Nice deep breath. Exhale, the lungs contract. Again, very calming. Very strengthening for the lungs. And we come out to about here. We don't go super wide. So we're playing here with the energy of expansion. Inhale, lungs expand, the hands expand. Exhale here. I think I might be cueing you wrong on the breath, but we inhale here and exhale. Let's do two more. Really feel into this one. Let's do one more. Let's pause here at Dantian, like that. So we just did a little Qigong. We didn't even do a lot, but I don't know if you're feeling it. I'm feeling like very relaxed, not sleepy, but just like whew, whatever level of stress that I didn't even know I was feeling because I wasn't aware of feeling stressed. I like teaching classes. This moment is not stressing me out, but there are some things that happened this morning. I just didn't even know I was holding it. So that's the beauty is with Qigong is like you can let go of things you don't even have to know that they're there until you let them go and you're like, ooh, good, I let that go. All right, let's do one more from that series. This is called sifting. So get your feet a little bit wider. We'll bring our hands here, bending my knees a little bit. Inhale. Bring the hands up, and now the hands are going to turn. And as you exhale and the hands come down, the legs are going to straighten. And that's a lot of different things at once. So just be gentle and do your best. Inhale, lifting the hands, sinking the legs. We're moving in opposition. Legs sink as the hands rise. Hands come down and legs rise. This is called sifting. We're sifting the yin and yang. So yin is down, yang is up. There's many meanings of that. But that's what we're doing here. Just a slight bend in the knees. It's not big. And I'm experimenting today. Usually I have like a white blanket so you can see the contrast better. And I thought I didn't need it, but I see that it is helpful, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Inhaling, lifting the hands, exhale, the hands come down as the legs come up. Let's do one more of these. And come to Dantian again, just close your eyes for a second and observe. How is your breath? Do you feel warmer? Do you feel more relaxed? What is going on in your body? I'm just tuning in to see what would be good to teach you next. Okay, let's do a little playing. So this what I'm going to teach you now is something that's part of the healing series that I teach usually on Thursday afternoon. I'm trying to teach different things in the different classes. And this is Qigong for beginners. In the Get Moving with Qigong class, a different class, I do teach more movement sequences and do a little less explanation. So they're all good. They can all be practiced at whatever level of Qigong skill or fitness that you have. So this one is from the healing series, and this is actually where we tend to finish. And this is called Playing with the Tai Chi Ball. Okay, so let's imagine now, let's first bring your hands here. And so again, we do a lot of work with this energy center called the Dantian, because this is really where the physical energy in the body, it's a big storehouse of that energy. So if you've ever heard people talking about core fitness, moving from your core in martial arts, we want to come from that lower place because it's where our power comes from. So where was I going with this? Okay. So we're going to play with taking the energy. So let's expand out. Our hands come away from the body. And let's widen the hands. And all of this energy that we've been building in our class, it's now imagine that it's, even though it's internal in our bodies, we visually imagine that energy is like a ball between our hands. And let's just play with it. So I'm going to turn my hands this way and this way, going back and forth, like I'm literally turning a ball in my hands. Looking around for my ball because it's kind of fun to show you. So you don't need a ball, I'm just being visual. So turning side to side and then top to bottom. So when we do this, we have this ball of energy, and we're also sending from the upper hand to the lower hand, and then we turn. So in this exercise, we play with this idea of our energy as something we can increase. So as we make the ball bigger, we're expanding. Let's get it even larger, and let's stay here. So this could represent a lot of things. So our chi energy, or even our self-expression. So there are times when we want to be bigger and bolder and more out there and more visible, speaking out. And then there are times when we want to be a little bit more introverted or bring our energy back and be like more internal inside ourselves. So this exercise helps you to become aware of that you can do that. And if you're sensitive to energy, you might even feel a little warmth between your hands, or tingling, or some other thing that tells you there's something there, even though you can't really see it. And let's just finish the movement part of our class with a little chi massage. So we've been building up this energy, cultivating it. We're playing with it. So we've got a lot in our hands. And now let's just take your hands, and I'm going to take my glasses off because it's just nice to feel, but you might need to keep yours on to see what I'm doing. Bring your hands pretty close to your face. And now you're just going to circle around the face. And you're very close. You're maybe an inch or two out, or even closer. We're sending all this beautiful energy that we've been building into our face. And go the other direction, so your palms are facing pretty close. You should just feel really nice and nurturing. And let's complete with a grounding activity. So get your hands on the top of your head. And now making contact, gentle contact with the body. Come down the face, down your chest, all the way down the front of your body, and coming down onto your legs and going as low as you can reasonably go. This is for grounding, bringing our energy down. Let's do one more. And if you can't reach your feet, just imagine that what you're doing continues down. Let's do one more body check-in. Again, close your eyes, observe. Don't judge, just how am I feeling now? If you've built up any kind of tension in the feet, the shoulders, the face, the jaw, just let it go. Okay, I'm going to just close our practice with a simple bow. You're welcome to join me. It's just hands here. And thank you so much for practicing. And we have a little more time for questions and wrapping up. Good. I'm glad you found it relaxing, Pam. Any questions about anything we did or anything else you want to share? And you can just share how you're feeling, or, if there was something particularly that your body said, yeah, I like that one.
We do that. We tie when we do Sebastian. He does the energy ball. A lot of work with that. So it's quite nice to be able to bring it in together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. So Janice is also taking Tai Chi classes, and she was saying that they're doing some work with the ball. It's a very, some of the stuff I teach is, I think it's my teacher's unique synthesis, and some of the things I'm teaching are classic in these arts, in these healing arts. So that's wonderful. Yeah. Anyone else want to share anything or ask a question? Or
I have something to share, Ellen.
yes.
The tree hug and calming the waters really helped. I was feeling a little pinching in my lower back, and I don't feel that now. So that must have helped me work that out.
Excellent.
Yeah, that meditation really worked. I enjoyed those.
Good. And the key to that, especially the standing at stake, is monitoring the tension, because if you're doing it with tension, or if you're doing it incorrectly and not knowing it, of course, you can actually start to get really tired, like if you're holding your shoulders up. So I'm glad that it was healing for you, which is of course the intention, but yeah, so good. Anything else before we go into our wrap-up section?
I guess I'll just say I feel mostly hot. I don't know if I feel relaxed. I I'm gonna wait and see how I feel, but I feel really warm.
Well, that's one of the signs of the chi moving is heat. If your room is warm, or if you need water, I would recommend drinking that, because sometimes if I practice qigong and I don't even realize I'm slightly dehydrated, I can get uncomfortably hot. But the heat itself is one of the signs. So, this whole practice is about cultivating the chi. So, I mean, it's better now. I used to get so hot during classes that it was just like, I couldn't get, like, I was already wearing a tank top. I was like, okay, I'm not taking my clothes off here, but I don't know how to cool down. And it started to balance itself out as my system came into balance. And I learned how to, stay near the window where there was fresh air and drink water. But yeah, that's, that is common. And sometimes the practice can, again, warmth is okay. Uncomfortably warm, or like where it's like, I don't know if that's good for me. It means you may have again, I can't say for sure, but sometimes we might have too much yang energy, which is more heat, and we need to do more cooling things in our lives, eat cooling foods, or certain foods are more yin, like root vegetables. And so there's a lot of different things that could be going on. So yeah, very good. Thank you, Nikki. Yeah. So I'm just have a couple of more slides as our final wrap up here. And thank you all for your questions and participation. Yeah, and if you're curious, Susan, and you come back, it may be different on a different day, or, I don't know, but it's not necessarily a problem. It's usually a sign of the chi moving. So
That's what I figured it was.
yeah. Okay, so let's see, where are we? That was nice. It just came right up for me, except I'm not sharing it, am I? Here. Screen share. Okay, so go really quickly through this. So again, just reminding you that this is a practice, a body practice. Of course, you can read books about it, but to get the benefits, you have to do it in your body. So, come back if you like it, get the recording, if possible, do a little bit every day. And something else we often don't do when we're trying to incorporate a new habit or a new pattern is we don't reinforce it. We don't ever celebrate or acknowledge. It's like, okay, I did 5 minutes of Qigong. Instead of saying that, we say, but I didn't do a whole half hour. I didn't do an hour. It's like every little bit you do, thank you. Good work, self, So just you're invited to share your experience on these Get Set Up websites. You do get a form where they ask for your feedback. There's a lot of related classes, but especially Tai Chi and the journaling, that's a good one. The classes that I teach here are the Get Moving with Qigong, this one, Qigong for Beginners, Ageless Grace, which is a more playful, seated, I call it brain health fitness fun. It's for the brain, it's done to music. It's very different than this. I teach a class on self-touch and using your hands and your healing abilities. Women's Qigong. So I'm teaching quite a lot of stuff here on Get Set Up, and you can just look up everything I'm teaching under my name, which is Ellen Shapiro. And yeah, so these are just, invitations to share this with friends through email, however you communicate with your friends, on Facebook, telephone, good old-fashioned phone conversations. And please do provide your feedback to us. I think that's the end of this. Okay, it's just talking about sharing, inviting a friend. All these things about Get Set Up. Okay, I think that's the end of my slides here. So thank you all for being here. Hope to see you again in practice, and find your own way with this or anything else that you want to do that's good for you. So take good
Thank
care,
you.
everyone. Stay
Thank
healthy.
you.
You're welcome. Okay,
Bye.
Good night.
bye now.